Now Norton, there's a name to conjure with, 100 years old this year. But here we are at Norton's new home in Rochdale, not Bracebridge Street where they used to come from, because we're at MCD. This is where they've developed the new range of Norton bikes. We're going to have a look inside and have a sneak preview of just what's going to be on offer. I started by asking renowned engine designer Al Melling, who counts TVR as one of his many clients and who is the man behind MCD, just how he got involved with Norton.
A group of quite wealthy people in Minneapolis, headed by John Overgrass, formed a company, March, using the March Formula One name to produce a superbike. And what he wanted to do was to produce bikes, but implying Formula One technology. And he formed this company, came over to us and said, look, can you design a range of engines for this idea? And of course we did a contract and away we went. He went down south, I believe into Oxfordshire, to have the bikes designed using, again, Formula One technology, a lot of carbon fibre frame, etc., etc.
And I think this did make the press at the time, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. The problem is that when you do this kind of thing using investors, the investors want to see things happening very quickly. They don't want to wait till you get to the moon before they start seeing returns and so on. And I think really the thing started running out of time. And I got a little bit concerned about this. And of course at that time I'd been speaking to the Aquilinis in Vancouver. This is Aquilini Investment Group.
Yeah.
They own the Norton name. They're very, very wealthy people in Vancouver. I believe they've just done a bid for Olympic Park in Ontario.
Yeah.
And they own the Norton name. And what I did is put these people together and brought Norton back using British technology, American money, and everything's going to be okay. Bring it into England.
So what makes bike engines so special?
If you design a bike engine, you design the engine. Then you've got to design the drive to the starter motor, which a car doesn't have. You stick it on the bike, it drives the flywheel. Yeah. There's no other gears involved. Right. With a bike, you've got a train of gears, a sprag clutch, and all the rest of it. Then you've got the alternator drive. Then you've got the primary drive from the engine to the gearbox and to the clutch. Then you've got to design the clutch, you don't on a car. And then you've got to design the gearbox, which you don't on a car. Yeah. So, like for example, TVR, all these people come to us and say, design it as an engine, right? And we have this big high-tech input, right? When you take a bike engine, it's like 10 times the amount of complication.
Which is why testing is so important. Well, this here is the 750 Manx engine going through its early shakedown tests, and you begin to see it's not just building an engine. When it comes to testing, there's mega money involved in that as well. So here you can see the injectors, they're well above the Venturi intakes there. Won't be like that on the road bike, needless to say. It's got sensors all over it, but it's great to see this engine for the first time being run up on the bench, getting some horsepower out of it, general shakedown tests. So this is the beginning of greater things. Oh, what's it feel like? I mean, I could see you watching that intently, but this is your baby, you've designed it. That first firing up, it must be a magical feeling.
It is, but you know
it's going to work, do you?
You know every inch of it, you know what's going on, you are listening to it, and of course you're watching it. But normally you wouldn't be here. Yeah. You would be in the control room behind this glass window. The reason why we're here is because we're in the throes of very fine design of the software for the management system. So what's happening is that where I'm turning this lever to operate the throttle, normally on the bike that would be a servo motor, it would be a stepper motor, and it's fly-by-wire. Until that's sorted out, I'm having to do it by hand.
Right.
But it is a feeling of, hey, it's there, and you can feel it. But the thing about what maybe you've noticed is that this engine sounds a lot different to normal 4-cylinder 750 motorcycle engines.
Yeah, well, it's so noisy in here that I didn't actually.
Well,
I mean, it's got a lovely edge to it. But
what it is that it's got, a lot of engine people would call it grunt.
Yeah.
If you watch a Formula One Grand Prix, when they come into the pits,
Yeah.
the engine is
Yeah.
and that's the noise that you're getting from here.
Right.
The reason being is because it's got very short intakes, which is just like Formula 1 practice, to allow it to get to 17,000 RPM.
Right.
Of course, when you hear a Grand Prix car on the track, it's a scream.
Yeah.
At 17,000 RPM, this will also be a scream.
I bet it will.
But at the speeds that we're running it here, we haven't tasked the guys in the control room, but we're probably going up to about 8,500 there.
Yeah.
But at that speed, it's
Yeah.
After that, it moves into a
Yeah.
and after that, it
You're very
ends
good
up in
at
a very big scream. All engine people are, believe me. You know, when you stand on a bit straight
Yeah.
and you listen to Formula 1 cars going past,
Yeah.
you've got to try and ascertain what RPM those guys are running, because, you know, maybe next year that team will have your contract.
So far, so good. But what about the rest of the bike?
What we've done is designed a range of bikes using almost engine casting design
The technologies.
concepts,
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Nemesis frame is a casting.
Yeah.
The Manx frame is a casting. And because we're using castings, it means that we can use different materials. Like, for example, the new Manx frame is magnesium. Remember that magnesium is only 1/3 of the weight of aluminium.
Yeah.
So a Manx frame for us is like incredibly lightweight.
But also incredibly expensive.
The Nemesis here, which is well over £30,000, it's got everything is magnesium. The wheels are magnesium, the frame is magnesium, the engine is magnesium. It weighs absolutely nothing. It produces, I think at the present time, it's about 290 horsepower. It's speed capability of well over 225 miles an hour. It's got active suspension. When you accelerate quickly, the front forks collapse to keep the weight forward so that the front wheel won't come off the ground.
Is collapse the right word, is it? I mean, it sounds
Well,
a bit
it
dramatic.
droops then.
Yeah.
The swinging arm has got a torsional regulator on it. It's all hydraulically driven so that the swinging arm actually comes up and the seat goes down, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's to get a torque reaction onto the wheel so that you get more grip, so that you can actually use the power of the bike.
So it's constantly weight distribution then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, the same thing happens when you brake.
Yeah.
So once this is done, then you've probably got the safest ever motorcycle that you could possibly produce.
So just who is going to buy this expensive piece of exotica?
I go to a lot of corporate offices and go into boardrooms, and you'd be amazed how many Sennas, 916, Ducatis and so on are sat in boardrooms just doing nothing. They just sat there as a talking point.
Yeah. This is the boys and the toys, is it, and all the rest of it?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. But
The guy that buys a Nemesis and uses it, he probably uses it just to go to the pub on a Sunday morning.
What a shame. What a shame.
Well, but you know, that's how it is these days.
So there we are. Ambitious plans from a man with proven ability. Deposits have been taken and deliveries are expected to start by April. Look out for a road test here on 2 Wheels. I can't wait.